Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm just going to talk about my startup journey and get to the core of the why I founded Glou and how I started on this journey. So I guess I'll get right into it, and we're just going to go back in time, and I'm going to tell this chronologically because that makes sense to me and that's literally the order in which it happened. So we'll go back to my very final semester of grad school. I was studying at Bocconi in Milan, and for one of the graduation requirements for my degree, we had to do a mini consulting project with a company. The company that I worked with was LVMH, and I was working in niche fragrances. So while I was doing all the market research and learning all about this category that I had no background in, I was also around beauty counters and the beauty departments quite a bit. And I just got curious because I had always watched YouTubers and they're doing these makeup tutorials, but I've never really played with beauty products. I had like very basic skincare routine, a very, very minimalist makeup bag. So I wanted to play with these products too. I kind of wanted to know more about like why one bronzer was better than another bronzer and like what bronzer even is. I went online, did all this research, and because beauty products are super expensive, I was like, I want to sign up for all these beauty box subscriptions because they are just so affordable. As soon as I got back home and I had a permanent mailing address again, I signed up for all these beauty subscription boxes, and I accumulated a lot of products in a short amount of time. And I was reading all the blogs with the spoilers for upcoming boxes, and the comments were really striking to me because there were so many unhappy customers and people weren't getting the products that they wanted. So I was like, okay, there's definitely an opportunity here, or this is really annoying because lots of other people are unsatisfied as well and no one's really doing anything about it. So that was kind of like in the back of my mind. And then when it came to looking for a job, I really wanted to go into a product management role. So I started interviewing for jobs, and for one of the interviews they gave me like a mini project to do. The project was basically design an app to solve a problem. So the problem that I decided to solve was beauty box subscription swapping and matching people to the product that they actually want. And that kind of like got stuck in my head, and I was like, oh, how would I write this algorithm? And I really started breaking down how I would build this app. By the way, I did not get that job, but this idea was just in my head. And then I also discovered all of these Facebook groups where women were buying and selling their beauty products, mostly from subscription boxes, but they were in general very passionate about beauty. And what really blew my mind was how absurdly inefficient the process was between sending people private messages, claiming items. Frequently, these pages would crash my solid state MacBook. These discussion groups and Facebook groups are just not made for that volume of images, and just how people were using Facebook groups as an ad hoc solution, it would just freeze the site. Like, I don't know how people were browsing it. So there's lots of back and forth messaging. People would take a picture of their whole collection of everything they wanted to sell and then put individual pictures down in the comments. And then if you wanted to claim these products, you then have to like reply to that comment. So now we have like hundreds upon hundreds of comments, and you have to figure out like all the items that buyer number 1 wants, and then buyer number 2, create the invoices on PayPal, issue those, hopefully they'll pay you and not ghost on a sale. Anyways, if there's anything I hate more, it's process inefficiencies. There's a reason that even though I'm Canadian, I can't stand going to Tim Hortons. And it's just because of their operational inefficiency. Like, I'm just, the whole time I'm there, I'm like, look, I just want to get in, get my drink, get my bagel, get out. Anyways, drives me insane when things just, like, the solution is so obvious to me. And I'm like, I can fix this for you and make your life better. So I was still interviewing for jobs, and at this point I was like, I'm throwing up a landing page. This could be a thing. Let me see how many people are interested. And people were signing up. I was not advertising at all, but people were like, yes, I want to sign up for this. And eventually I created a marketplace. It was called Subswaps, and people started listing their products, which was like kind of exciting. But very soon, as I was doing more and more user research, I realized that people don't really want to swap, but like they kind of just want to get their money back and then use that money to buy exactly what they want. And swapping isn't super efficient. So then at some point I became SS Beauty Market because I could not think of another name. So SS came from Subswaps. And then a year after that, that's when I became Glou Beauty because I finally thought of a company name. Anyways, I stopped looking for a job about 8 months after I started my job search. And I was and my mom really encouraged me. She's like, hey, like, if you think this is a real opportunity, like, you can go after this and this can be your job, which is like a huge, huge deal because that means like I'm not gonna be making money for a really long time. So at some point I stopped looking for a job, and that was kind of when I first put up the very first Subswaps marketplace. That was like when I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna take this very seriously and see where it goes. And I got a lot of user feedback. They're like, yeah, I don't really want to swap. And then people were very helpful and very frank in their feedback. Sometimes people were kind of mean, which really took me back. There were so many times I wanted to quit just because strangers would just shut me down, and it just completely zapped my energy. I find social media extremely exhausting, and I can't just like bounce back from that stuff. I've made like 2 prototypes, and in the meantime, because like being a founder of a startup doesn't pay any money, it's like not very glamorous at all. I called up my old employer, Anthropology, and I was like, hey guys, like, you hiring? Can I come back? I got my old retail job back, and I also got acting agents. So I had a couple agents that just dealt with background acting, so just being an extra, because in Toronto, the film industry is pretty huge. They film so much here, and a lot of being an extra is just waiting on set all day. It's 14 hours usually, depending on the production, and it's great because they feed you, but it's also super boring and everything is really slow, which was great because I could do so much of my work from my phone. So between working retail and having like the odd job as a background actor, I had like some money to kind of do like preliminary market research and like do ad testing and stuff like that. So that's basically how this all started and how I got to this point today. It's basically been like 2 years of intense user research and getting feedback. And at this point, I pretty much have final prototype for our MVP. So that's a minimum viable product. And I'm basically out of funds, so I'm also like trying to do a little bit of fundraising as well. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole story of everything that has happened and all the different events that have led up to where I am with Glou Beauty today. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you have made it to this point in the video. I appreciate your time so, so much. And hopefully, if you're interested in joining Glou Beauty when we launch, the waitlist is up. Throughout the next few months, there will be ways for you to move up the waitlist. We're also doing like giveaways and contests just to keep everyone engaged and excited for what's coming up next. So definitely check that out at glou.co. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It means so much to me. I get very excited every time someone joins, and yeah, that's kind of it for this week. I will have a new video up for you next week. Bye!